In the live, Mr. Todd Hansen.
And I'm the only one not wearing the right t-shirt.
Good morning, and I'm Bruce. I'll be holding the camera and letting you know what's going on. Todd Hansen is going to make hearts for you today. He's got Ann and Nancy Wilson in the studio to help him out with that. That's Josh Reese back there, not the Wilson sisters. There, good morning, and thanks for joining us. And look, if you've got any questions or comments, please go ahead and submit them. And if I can see them as they scroll across the screen, we'll certainly answer them.
Or any jokes. If you have any jokes,
anything, just let us know. So we're going to do a short demonstration here. We've decided to add YouTube to our venue for us every Tuesday at 10:30 in the morning Eastern Time. And then after we finish this, at 11 o'clock, we do a 2-hour show, or approximately 2 hours, on Facebook Live. So, Todd, you're going to make hearts for us today, huh?
Yes, so here's what we're going to do. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick up a little bit of garnet red, which I've got a very small thread. We're going to put that into a bubble optic mold, or a diamond optic mold, or a pineapple mold, depending on where you learn the vernacular. Little bronze cup with little points sticking out. Then I'm going to put another gather over that. And all those little points where they pushed in are going to be bubbles. So we're going to have little bubbles sitting on top of red transparent glass. I'm going to blow that out a little bit, shape it. I'm going to put it into a heart mold. Since we are coming up on Valentine's Day, I'm going to make a nice blown heart. We'll blow it into the mold. Then we're going to flip it around and still do a little work to finish it. This is the mold we're going to use. Sitting in water, cut some cherry wood. This is from Art Reed. We get this from Art Foster. Did we get this from Art Reed?
Yes.
Yeah. So Art Reed up in New York cut this for us. Makes a little more sense this way.
Yep, that way it looks like a heart, but Todd's not going to stand on his head and blow upside down.
So we're going to flip it this way.
This is the way it'll be put into the mold when he blows.
Close it, blow it, open it.
There we go. All righty. And he's got the diamond mold over here. Some people call it a pineapple mold. We have a few different sizes. It's got spikes on the inside sticking out, and that'll create the bubbles that he was talking about. So, off we go. Good morning, everybody. I saw Joanna and Lynn had checked in. Anybody else, let us know you're here. Glad to have you with us. We'll be doing this quick demonstration and then switching over to Facebook Live in a little while. But we're happy to be here right now and glad to have you with us. So over here on the Marver is a bowl with the garnet frit. Frit is basically granular glass. It's glass that's been chopped up. This is a fairly fine grain. We can get it in different sizes. Todd took the gather of clear glass out of the furnace. In our furnace, we melt purely clear glass. If we were to melt 400 pounds of blue, then he wouldn't be making this piece this morning. And we don't want to have to use 400 pounds of blue glass before we can make any other color. So we melt color, we melt clear, and add color to it. You saw him just gather that garnet color on the end of the blowpipe. And for a little more coverage, he'll go through it again by just turning the iron and letting the hot glass touch that frit. It picks it up. That frit's at room temperature. Now, quite often when we use a solid piece of glass, we'll go ahead and preheat it to around 900 degrees so it sticks pretty well. Well, good morning, Brian and Arena. Hello, hello, hello. What is the benefit of different size frit? Glad you asked. The frit has different grit because the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Actually, though, we use the different sizes for different design effects. If we want to take the glass and twist the frit up, say on the Marver, and make lines, that works better with a slightly larger frit. If we'd like to have the appearance of more solid color, but in fact it is not solid, we'll use a smaller grain or a less dense frit. And if we want really just to have kind of spots on it, we'll use some of the largest frit. What Todd's done just now is shake the piece on the Marver a little bit, He's got his finger over the blowpipe there. That's trapped the air. The air is a pressurized column in there. It's got no place to go but out into that hot glass.
It's so hot.
So, when one of the things about glass blowing is after you've worked the glass for maybe a minute or so, or even less sometimes, you need to reheat. And that's when it keeps going back to the glory hole. So that's the reheating oven that he's using right now. There's no glass in there. That's just a ceramic cylinder basically with a burner in it. Runs at about 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. Once the glass gets down a few hundred degrees, say getting down in the 1,700 degree Fahrenheit range, becomes harder to work with. You can see when he brings that glass out of the glory hole, it's kind of got an orange glow to it. That's indicative of heat. He's shaping a little bit on the marver right now. And once again, a little more air pressure trapped in the pipe, and you see that end of that bulge out. There we go. So now he's going to shape it a little bit. Get exactly what he wants, tapering it on the marver. Hello, Michael. Yeah. Yay, Todd. That's the kind of comments we like to hear. Yay, Todd.
Is that Michael from Netherlands?
I believe so. The comments keep disappearing on me. So not Michael Herman, but another Michael. Okay. So we're going into the diamond mold, right?
Yes.
So right now Todd's getting the glass very, very hot. It'll be so hot that it practically drips as he holds it pointed toward the floor.
Is it?
And then he'll let it fall into that optic mold, that diamond mold. It does do an optic impression, but it'll be a series of dots, diamond shapes in it. That's why we call it a diamond mold. The glass is very hot. Here he comes. It practically falls into the mold. It blows real hard, but he has to suck back in on it because it can get stuck. You can see the little diamond shapes on there, and those can get caught on the pins unless you're really careful and know what you're doing, which he is. And that's a good thing. So he's got the diamond optic pattern in the glass, and what he'll do now is roll it on the marver, straighten it out a little bit, and then he's going to let that cool. And as he described to you earlier, he'll be dropping that into the furnace for another gather, and that's going to trap air in all those little depressions. So there's some real depression glass. Oh man, that was bad. So right now he's just going to let that chill out a little bit, and so is he. We kept his bottle of Smirnoff away from him this morning. So here he goes now for the next gather. And after he comes out with this, he may strip a little bit of it off if he gathers too much, but in a few moments, he's stripping it back in the furnace right now. You see him raise the iron at an angle there, and here comes some more to drizzle off the end because of its fluid nature. And and there's the bubbles forming. You can see that in those spaces. So everywhere there was a slight depression in the glass, when the ensuing layer of clear glass went over it, it trapped a little air in there, and that's what forms the air bubble. Right now he's going to use a wooden block. It's basically a cup. It's made of cherry wood. It's on a handle. And what that does is a couple of things. It gives it a little stability and also shapes it and keeps it in a really good proportion. And you can see that by blowing while turning the pipe, he's got a really well-formed sphere on the bottom of this. He's using a tool called jacks right now to separate the glass from the blowpipe a little bit. As he leans his hand out, the glass moves away. He'll get this size just exactly what he wants to go in the mold. He's flattening it now because basically the heart is not a rounded shape. It is kind of flattened on one side. We'll step over here while he heats that up. Here's the mold he's going into. We'll get out of his way while he gets the thing hot. There's two handles on that. only he's going to use his ankles to control it. He's going to drop the hot glass into the cavity of the mold, close it up, use his legs to hold the mold together, and then he'll blow really hard and it'll inflate to take on the shape of that mold. There we go with the placement, the squeeze, and then he blows, gets the air going really hard, and boom, there we go with the heart. Okay, and all those bubbles transferred out into it. We'll get a closer look as he comes to the bench. So you can see where the bubbles were formed. They're in the glass right there. Right now he's going to squeeze that jack line just a little bit. Josh has prepared a punty. A little bit of glass on the end of a smaller pipe. Todd will attach that. Now we're going to break the heart free of the blowing iron. A little drip of water right on that joint that he made, and a tap, and it comes free. So there we go. There's an opening on the end of that where he cut the jack line earlier. Josh is heating that for him right now. Todd will take over. First order of business is to heat that tip. So it's cold enough to fracture. It takes a little while to reheat and make it malleable again. So that's why he's got just the end of that piece down in there. Okay, yeah. So we have a momentary pause there in the commentary because Josh is playing with the screen trying to show me how I can keep watching the comments. So that's a good thing. So now we know more about what we're doing. Todd's using, as far as the broadcast, Todd's using his tweezers, which we have generously waxed for him. No, we have not waxed his tweezers, but sometimes if they do get a little wax on them, they don't work so good. Right now he's going to cut off the end of that. Okay. And give himself a little smaller opening there. While he reheats this, we'll take a quick trip over here to our display area so you can see what the shape that's coming is, and we'll get back in there just in time to see it. So that end that I'm focusing on right there is what he's working on next. So he's reduced the size of the opening, he's softening the glass, he's going to use his tweezers to pull that around to a little bit of a curve. So let's get over here so we can watch it happen. If you'd like one of these hearts, we can ship them. We're getting close to Valentine's Day, but there's still time, especially if you're in the local area. You can order online at artoffire.com. You can call us at 301-253-6642. Is that right?
253-6642.
Okay, I got it right. Whenever I call the studio, I just press the button that says studio instead of having to dial the number. So I never remember that number. Anyway, Todd's got his curve going on that. Got a beautifully shaped heart. He's going to knock it off with a blowpipe, a little drop of water right where the putty went, and he'll put it into that cradle.
Stick that right where your putty went.
Takes that off, and now he's going to gather, he's going to gather a little glass on the end of that putty iron. He'll use that to form the hook. So a little bit of clear glass now. He'll bring that back over, place it right where the putty was attached. That'll cover up any remaining glass that was left on the heart there. He'll pull up on it gently, thin it out some, and then curl it over for a hook. Tweezers then to just pull up gently and curl it over. You can see that the glass moves a little bit in the cradle, but he's got complete control of that. Got a beautiful little hook on it, and now he's got a special tool to knock it into the water bucket. Actually though, hey! So it'll go into the annealer now. And we're making plenty more. So that one will probably come out A-OK. Thank you, Todd. We don't know till we see it come out. But if you'd like that one, go ahead and order it. If not, we'll make you others. So
Okay, discount that. And we charge more because it was special.
okay, so thanks for joining us. Like we said earlier, we do these YouTube broadcasts. We're just trying to get into a different platform, if you will. And so right now, we're going to sign off, and we'll see you on Facebook Live in a few minutes. Bye-bye.